Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Sovereign Society podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Riccio, and I wanted to create this episode today because it's 2/2/2022. And so, with that being a very auspicious day, we also have 2/22/2022. It's really hard to say that. It's so tongue twisting because it's so wild, right? And the fact that that's landing on a Tuesday, I couldn't record this episode or share this episode after or have it be shared on the 23rd. That wouldn't be as fun, right? So I wanted to share with you today on 2/2/2022 this really auspicious medicine. And before I dive in, I just wanted to share some things. First of all, this specific episode it's going to make me emotional, is dedicated to my grandmother because the day this comes out on 2/2/2022, we're having her celebration of life. And, if there's anything that this woman taught me, who was a mother of 8 and a grandmother to 15 and a great grandmother to 2, she taught me what it means to be a high priestess. And so much of the two, when we talk about tarot, and I'm going to be talking a lot more in this episode about the tarot connections, the numerological connections, the planetary connections, and what all of this is about. But with sharing this, she taught me what it means to be a high priestess, what it means to be the divine feminine, and what it means for me to trust in my intuition and the sacred knowledge, the ancient wisdom, to understand that I'm here to help transmute darkness into light. So I wanted to dedicate this episode to my grandmother. My last visit with her was on Christmas Eve when I got to show her my Mother Mary tattoo that I got on 12/12/2021, which is another palindrome date, and she absolutely loved my tattoo. And I'm just so grateful for her wisdom and her medicine, because it really fueled me to dive deeper into mysticism and to share with you, the medicine that I do. So I just needed to share that little shout out to my grandma today, because she's such a special woman. Truly, she was a living saint. So this episode is dedicated to my grandmother. And thank you for your love and support. These past couple weeks have been super challenging, navigating through my own health and closing out this big chapter of my ancestral journey, and stepping up and taking reign. I think there's so much of that energy right now. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your love and support. The second housekeeping I just wanted to share before we dive in is that I have started a brand new Instagram. After my Instagram was hacked around Christmas time, the energy just hasn't felt the same. And so I wanted to start with a clean slate and bring in people or support people who actually support my work, rather than having a lot of stagnant, stale energy of followers who aren't engaging, or to have these bots. A lot of people have had bots, just follow people or whatever. And there's so much weirdness going on right now with that platform. So I just wanted a clean slate. And you can find my handle right now as of 2/2/2022 at the Sabrina Riccio. Ideally praying that by 2/22/2022 I can go back to just Sabrina Riccio. But right now I am shifting over to my backup account, and I'm starting on a clean slate. So if you want to receive medicine support about soulful systems, modern mysticism, mystical marketing, and sovereign embodiment, which are the 4 pillars of my business, again, I invite you to follow me at the Sabrina Riccio. Eventually, I will close out my other platform. I'm just finishing cleaning up some things, and yeah, I'm just ready for this clean new slate. And so that's my last piece of the housekeeping. But it's interesting because I share both of those things with you as we dive into this conversation, or me sharing with you this medicine, um, because there's just so much of that energy that's coming on. I mean, what's really fascinating today is that when I look at 2022, you may have remember a year ago I recorded an episode during the inauguration about what happened at the Capitol, and I'll have that in the show notes. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll have that here. Um, but I talked about America's Pluto return and how I knew that there was going to be so much shift going on. If there's anything we've seen from COVID, right? There was such a huge division that happened during this pandemic. And that's not what this country is about. Like, united we stand, divided we fall. And there is so much division right now, right? And so today on 2/2/2022, Pluto is exactly where it was when the Declaration of Independence was written. Wow, right? Insane. So looking back on that and seeing how Pluto is the planet of the underworld, we've had to really come to terms and face what's the yuckiness, the ego, the parts of us that aren't in alignment with the sovereignty and the purity and the truth of who we are, spiritual beings having a human experience. So when I, was researching or finding these pieces and just getting the downloads and the hits on what to talk about on this episode, when I saw that, I was like, you can't make this shit up, right? So here, 2022, we have America's Pluto return. And I know, like I said, that's why there's just been so much heaviness and ickiness in this country and in the world. We're seeing it all over, is because we need to get radically honest on where there's division. That's not what God wants. That's not the unity. We cannot soar to 5D unity consciousness, which is a frequency. We cannot get there if we are constantly at war with one another, if we're seeing the separation between each other, and we're finding this separateness between ourselves and our connection to God, our connection to spirit, universe, whatever lexicon you want to use. But these are the things that we need to really get radically honest and consider. And so, I don't know if a part of me starting a whole new Instagram is also part of my ego death, because there's been so much conditioning around, like, oh, your worthiness based off of your amount of followers. I'm going from 10.3 thousand followers to 0, like starting from scratch. So that's a huge ego death for me and a rebirth that I'm ready for. I'm here for. I'm ready for this clean slate. And like I said, the fact that I'm going to be sharing so much exciting content around systems and marketing and sovereign embodiment and mysticism, and how do we infuse all of that into your sovereign business. I'm so looking forward to see what comes out. And I don't know if all my health things have also been purging out those last pieces. But I don't want to make this episode about me, but I just, when I reflect on that medicine and I see how, what's coming up in my own perception and my own reality, and how I'm here to teach and how I'm here to lead, I can't ignore those things. And I share that with you because maybe there can be some inspiration for you to get radically honest on the areas where maybe your ego, edging God out, has really taken forth. Because if you think about 222, that angel number is so strong about alignment. And when we see 2, there's a lot about balance. Like, think of it when we talk about tarot and we see the 2 of coins, or the 2 of pentacles, that's about balance. The 2 of cups is a lot about partnerships. When I see the 2 of wands, I see like an 11, right? I see these pillars of light. And even with the wands, like, I just want you to cut out the debris, cut out the shit. And it's really fascinating because these are the pieces that we can start to understand the ancient wisdoms and the ancient teachings of our ancestors, and how can we infuse that into the now? How can these teachings and traditions and this medicine can be woven into the now? I've been talking about that so much here. I talked about that with Rashunda Tremble. I talked a lot about that with Nikki Cosmo. I'm going to be talking more about that with Bess Matassa coming up. There's so many of this has just been so much of the energy that's been coming through, is so much around the ancestors. And again, I don't know if it's because it's part of America's Pluto return. I don't know if it's I'm recognizing it because I just lost my last ancestor, my grandmother. And all these things, like there's so many synchronicities that can't be ignored, plain and simple. And so again, when we understand this angel number of 222, and I share this because that's the year, right? 222 is about reminding you, when you see that, you knowing that you're on the right path. So this is the time for you to trust in the divine plan, trust in the unfoldment of your life and the timing of what's going down, because your manifestations are coming in. And I think we had such an intense retrograde season. I mean, I don't know about you, but when Venus was in retrograde, that bitch kicked my ass. And I had a really, really, really challenging January. I got COVID, my grandmother passed, I had another episode. But again, the arrow has to be pulled back before it can be shot forward. And this is a lot of that medicine that comes with Scorpio squaring Aquarius. And I share this with you because Scorpio, Saturn was in Scorpio during 2012 when everyone thought, quote unquote, the world was supposed to end. Remember that? Here we are. And 2022, right now, during this 2022, Saturn will be in Aquarius, right? So Scorpio, that fire sign, Aquarius, that air sign, they're squared, they're fixed. So this quadrant of, when we see that clock, again, that's like noon and 3, right? So that would be like, boop, a turn, like there's 3 planets between, boop. We have to understand that what this is that while squared energies can often be tied with stress, right? And it has been stressful. Like, we are diving into the Aquarian Age. We're purging out the last of the Piscean Age. But there's been teachings that were heavy and strong and really dominant in the Piscean Age, like mysticism and astrology, that we're bringing the purity. I talked about this a lot in an upcoming episode with one of my former clients, with Allison Lassard, who you're going to hear in a couple weeks. But we're the ones that are bridging the gap, and we're the ones from the Piscean Age. If you're listening, you were born in the Piscean Age. I don't think I have any listeners here who were born after 2012. I don't think I've got like 10-year-olds here. But if I do, like, wow, you're amazing. But what I was talking about with Allison was that we're bringing the purity of the Piscean Age and what our ancestors brought into the Aquarian Age. And so again, while there could be a lot of stress during these last 10 years, and a lot of people spent this time to do the deep healing work, a lot of people spent this time to hone in on their gifts and their purpose and their passion and why they're here. But this square especially can really be an initiation for us to take an honest inventory and get radically honest. I think that was a lot of the energy of the Venus retrograde. And I've said this before. I've talked about this even with Mercury retrograde and all these things. It's when retrograde seasons happen, it's not a bad thing, quote unquote, bad thing. Challenges can definitely arise, but they're all introspections. And with Venus, right? When we had the Venus retrograde, and I still share this because we're still in the shadow period of it, especially if you're listening or watching this the day that this comes out, we're still in the shadow period of integration, right? And so we need to integrate. How can we have a better relationship with ourselves, with others, in our business, with partners? And think about it, two people partnership, like that's what it's always been. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6, and that is the lover card, the lovers in tarot, right? Also Gemini, those two pillars going back to the wands. When we see when we're seeing a lot, excuse me, the two pillars of the swords, like we're seeing a lot in tarot because the swords represent the air sign. And when we see the Gemini symbol, right, it looks like a 2. And so this is a lot of Gemini energy in 2022. So there can be two sides of the coin. To recognize it's a coin, this is what we need to see with these 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. It's a lot of 2 energy where we need to find that balance, cultivate that balance, cultivate that harmony and that partnership within ourselves, within our own inner masculine, within our own inner feminine. So again, 2, 2, 2, we've got this understanding, awareness that we're on the right path, we're on the right journey. So many of us have been so devoted to the work, and I just want to give you a clap, a round of applause for committing to this work, so that you can really answer the call, so that you can really be the change you wish to see in the world, and so that you can really activate a legacy. And that's what I want to help you to do. That's why I'm shifting so much of my work to helping you with your systems in your business. I want to help you create smarter, not harder. We don't have to work hard anymore. We can work smarter. And I think that's what a lot of this energy of 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I just make sure I get all my 2s, right? But this is the time to take action. 2022 is also landing on a Tuesday. Wow. Okay, so that is so crazy, right? But it isn't, because Tuesdays are ruled by Mars, right? I talk about this inside Thrive. I talk about this inside Alchemize Your Systems. And I talk about this, and we're going to dive in deeper into this in my program, Business Alchemy, which is my upcoming 3-month business development program. So if you've been curious or you've been craving to start this business, I'm going to give you everything you need to really build that foundation and to grow and to build your online empire. So if you're interested, you can send me a DM on Instagram or email me, and I would love to give you more information. You can also check in the show notes to add to the wait list. But these are the things that I want you to understand. Tuesday, Mars is about taking action. So the fact that you're having 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, you're on the right path. It's time for you to take action, to take initiative, to stop playing small, and to revolutionize the world with your medicine. How have you been able to get radically honest about, what areas, how can you improve? Like, where can you ask for help? What can you cut the ties of? Where can you cut the excess weight, the stress, whatever? How can you actually be in alignment? Because alignment is the true hustle. Remember that. It's the title of my upcoming book. I'm very excited. But you have to be able to cultivate this balance within your mind, body, and spirit, right? This trifecta. You need to find balance within the 3 of these, because you are mind, body, spirit. We need these pieces together. So if you can give yourself the opportunity to take time for yourself, to align yourself to your truth, what is it that you want more so than you don't? Focus on that strength. Focus on your gifts. Focus on your talents. Focus on what comes natural to you, what a lot of people come to you need for your support with, and run with that. These are all the pieces that I want you to understand, so that you can surrender, so that you can let go, so that you can have faith in this process, because you are co-creating this with the divine. There is a divine purpose, there is a divine plan, and when these challenges happen or these challenges arise, you can get through it. The universe, God will only give you what you can handle. I want you to remember that. So, to really just continue to wrap up this, I want to talk about a little more of tarot with this because, like I shared before, two is the High Priestess, which has so much to do and I want to share with you some of these tarot cards too, is so much about intention and that sacred knowledge and the mystery. And anytime you see a High Priestess, she is sitting strong. Like, she is in her power, she's unfuckwithable, and she represents that divine feminine. She has this inner knowing and this faith to trust the process, right? And so, I wanted to share with this card. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see, but the High Priestess here. This isn't part of the deck that I'm in of the Moonchild Tarot, but I want you to really tap into your higher power and to that inner knowing that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. You came here on mission, you came here on purpose. Remember that. And it's interesting too, because when we talk about the major arcana, and you may have remembered that when I talked about it in Rashonda's episode, we talked about the Fool's Journey, right? So the Fool often starts at 0, and then the world it ends at number 21, which is that completion, that full circle, integration, and you've been able to really accomplish, and you can see the bigger picture because you've gone through the journey, you've transcended the ego in a way, and you're in this space of fulfillment. You're sharing from this overflow. You recognize the abundance. Like, the world has so much to offer. There isn't scarcity unless you believe it, right? And this is another thing that you need to focus on. Like, can you give yourself permission to tap into the abundance and the overflow and everything that's given to you? Like, you are so blessed, so privileged, so lucky to have all the things that you have, right? You can feel into that connection. So, we've gone through this whole journey, this completion. We're ready to soar. We're ready to unleash our medicine. And it's interesting because while the world is the 21st, number 21 in the major arcana, again, the Fool represents 0, but this is still the 22nd card because this is actually the first card, right? But a lot of people also can say, like, once you've gone through that full circle, you're going to start from the beginning again, right? There's going to be new challenges that will arise, new opportunities, new successes, new experiences coming to you. And that's a lot of what the Fool energy is. You're just going in, like, with an open mind, and you're here. And this is what we need to understand. You can get to that space of being open-minded when you have faith in that you are supported, when you can trust the process, when you can honor the divine plan. And again, that goes back to the energy of 222, trusting that you're on the right path. So all in all, there's so much beautiful energy coming with this, not just today, if you're listening the day that this episode comes out on 2/2/2022, but there's also so much beauty coming out from 2/22 2022 that, again, that is just such a beautiful, auspicious time. Like, what a blessing that you get to be here and experience this incredible palindrome, same going forwards and backwards. Not very many people, our ancestors, couldn't really say that unless you go way back. The last time we were going to be able to have something like this was January 11th, 1111. Like, how far? Like, that's a long ass time. That's over 1,000 years ago. Like, you can't make this up. So I just really want you to take the time to find the gratitude and the appreciation that this is what you get to experience. You came here for this. This is medicine. So I really also would encourage you on 2/22/222, unless you're doing like a launch or something with your business, maybe take the time away from social media and just be present. Honor your partnerships, honor yourself, your mental health, your well-being. What can you do to cultivate balance? Like, focus on and allow yourself to have these days be the days where you're honoring what fills you up, what brings alignment to your mind, body, and spirit. this is, and maybe this is why I also need to share this episode with you a couple weeks in advance, because I want you to really use this time to nourish yourself. I want you to use this time to fill up your cup. I want you to use this time to connect with God, connect with your ancestors, connect with your inner child, with your lovers, with your friends, your family, your community, the people that are here to support you as you continue to embark on your journey and embark on this right path towards your destiny, right? This is what we need to really embrace and honor. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here. If you love this podcast, please leave a rating and review on iTunes. Like I shared in the beginning of this episode, I'm navigating through such a reset right now, embarking on this journey, and I need your help as a community. I've been nothing but devoted to this space and really doing my best as I've also been navigating through my wild health journey over the past year that's been, in and out of hospitals and doctor's appointments and brain scans and blood work, and still not very many answers. But what kept me going was my community and you all. So if you can just, again, take a few moments to leave a rating and review on iTunes. The podcast is back. I know I was gone for 6 months, but I needed that time to really work on finding these answers, and it's been preparing me to continue to share incredible medicine with you all. And again, if you haven't yet, go follow my new Instagram at the Sabrina Riccio, THE right in front of it. I'll have all the links to that in my show notes. And if you're listening after 2022, it may be back to Sabrina Riccio, praying for that. But again, I just want to say thank you so much for your love and support. Let me know what you think of this episode. And I would love to hear over on Instagram too, or if you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you're doing for 2022. But like I said, we're coming into such a beautiful time of completion. And when we give ourselves permission to honor our own health, our own balance between the mind, body, and spirit, we activate so much abundance. We activate alignment. We activate ease. We activate and attract our destiny, our desires, and why we're really here. So allow this auspicious day to inspire you to keep going. Remember to continue to trust this process, to thank God for, the blessings and the abundance and the opportunities we have to experience. Amazing. 2/2, like today, 2/2, 2022, and 2/22, 2022. It's freaking amazing. Like, what a special month, especially when we're also in a time where all the planets are direct now, and there aren't crazy retrogrades as there were. It's just absolutely incredible. So I'm grateful to be here with you. Thank you again for tuning in, and celebrate life. It's such a blessing to be here, and a blessing to be here together. I'll see you soon. Take care. Sanam.